One of the stories, Paul, that's got you and me scratching our heads is eBay. GameStop's bid for eBay, a company that is 4 times its size. Ryan Cohen, of course, making this very dramatic takeover offer for the company. eBay has now rejected that $56 billion takeover offer, calling it neither credible nor attractive. I think that pretty much tells you what it thinks.
I did investment banking for a long time, and I can get very creative with capital structures, but I have a hard time seeing how they would finance this thing.
All right, let's bring in Cecilia D'Anastasio. She is our video game reporter here at Bloomberg.
Nice.
Great to see you, Cecilia.
Thank you for having me.
What was the thinking behind GameStop in making a bid for eBay?
You know, we actually didn't get a lot of insight into what CEO Ryan Cohen thought that the proposed synergies could look like. He never really went out and said, hey, we run a video game, retail company, but also we're doing really well in collectibles. We're doing really well selling Pokemon cards. eBay also doing really well selling Pokemon cards and baseball cards. We could have heard that in any of the interviews that Ryan Cohen gave, but he didn't actually really go out and say that. In fact, when he was given questions about what the combined company could look like, he often sort of dodged.
So, I mean, what's the story with GameStop these days? I mean, I'm not a gamer, thank goodness. Most of my kids are not gamers. But it's almost a meme stock. But what's the real call on this company these days?
You know, it's interesting because GameStop could be doing a lot worse than it is doing. You know, they shuttered, thousands of stores over the last couple of years. It used to be a big ubiquitous presence at your neighborhood strip mall. And, gamers are increasingly purchasing their wares in online marketplaces and not at these physical storefronts. But GameStop is still hanging on. CEO Ryan Cohen said, we could be doing worse. It's not a great business, but it's hanging in there.
We could be doing worse is not a great line that you want to hear from the CEO of a company stock that you happen to own. So having said all of this, there's been some reporting that perhaps Ryan Cohen just wanted to boost the stock price of GameStop because there's some clause, I guess, in one of his compensation packages that if the share price reaches a certain level, he gets another big payout. Can you talk us through what's going on there?
It's really hard to say. If the companies did end up combining, then it's possible that he would have been able to receive that payout and he would have been very happy. But also at the same time, a lot of analysts pointed out that the way that Ryan Cohen approached eBay wasn't exactly so friendly. It was an unsolicited bid. He didn't publicly state what he thought the synergies could look like. When eBay came back saying that the deal felt neither credible nor attractive, I think that kind of speaks to this idea that, maybe this wasn't so thoroughly thought out. I think a lot of analysts are very, very confused about the tenor of this.
CNBC interview did a lot to improve that outlook there.
Yeah.
I mean, what a disaster that was. So do you think GameStop would pursue a proxy fight and take it to that next step?
It's possible. Ryan is a very unpredictable executive, which is part of what makes him really fun to cover.
Yes.
He posted a manifesto on X, formerly known as Twitter, describing how he thinks American business people are often taking a really risk-averse approach to running their companies, and he's really trying to carve out a model for something really different. So it's possible he would pursue the proxy fight.
Wow.
It's possible also that this was a publicity stunt.
Do we know who his advisors are, his investment banking or legal advisors? The only thing I saw was he's got a financing letter from TD Securities, which again tells you that.
Highly confident,
Highly confident for $20 billion.
I haven't seen that in 30 years. But we don't really know who his other advisors are.
He's a highly autonomous individual.
I like the way you put that. That was a great answer. It might even be a dodge in the same way that Ryan Cohen may not have answered some questions head on.
All right, so
telling.
Yeah, so we'll see. But that was certainly, I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card.
No.
GameStop
When that headline crossed, and I believe it was over a weekend, I remember looking at it thinking, what? How is this going to work?
Yeah.